It is good to welcome Todd Barrow to the podcast. He is a country musician based in Texas, if I get that correctly. Todd, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining the show. I believe you know of my program through Caden Gordon.
Yes, sir. He has spoken highly of your program and the things that you're doing in the music industry.
No, thank you very much. I don't see myself as part of the music industry. I just find musicians to interview them, which is what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do and expose, more of our music to the fans out there in the world.
Certainly, yes. So, wherefore in Texas are you based?
I am located in the Dallas area or Fort Worth. We call it the DFW area here in Texas. So it's just basically central Texas is where I'm located at.
Mhm. Wonderful. Yeah, it's where the airport is, right?
Yeah, DFW Airport, planes flying in and out. It's where it's at.
Mhm. What do you like most about Texas?
I like the diversity of Texas. It has a lot of personality, a lot of good culture. We like to blend things here in Texas, so we welcome everyone from all over the world, really, and appreciate all the different things that everyone brings here to the state. But the Lone Star State is very popular among the world as I've ex been ventured out in many ways to different countries and found that people really love to talk about Texas. So it's big. Texas is big.
Yeah, yes. I believe it's the largest state, right, in the union.
Yeah, it is the largest state by far.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm Vietnamese, so I know that there are plenty of Vietnamese people who are living in Texas too.
Oh, of course, yes. And the restaurants are very good too. We have very good Vietnamese restaurants here in Texas.
Yeah, I bet. I know that there's a famous amusement park franchise called Six Flags, right? It's based in
Correct.
Texas, and it's a reference to the fact that Texas was ruled by like six sovereign nations.
Yes,
Um,
that is you're spot on. Yeah, Six Flags is a big amusement park throughout the state of Texas in different locations.
mhm. So, were you born and raised where you are right now?
I was born actually close to Six Flags. Uh, Grew up there, went to school there, and it was a good place to live and grow. Not a big town. The city I grew up in was a city called Grand Prairie, but it now it's exploded. It's got all kinds of amusement things to do now as well as the big. We have the big horse races there now. The Lone Star races are out there, and a lot of good music venues have popped up in the area as well. So. But yeah, it's been a good home and it's a good place to grow a family too and very family oriented.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm guessing you're a family man as well.
Yeah, okay. I am and yeah, I've got a big family and live here close to where Kelly Clarkson grew up. Kelly Clarkson was born here and and now I reside in a city close to her hometown.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, what drew you into country music?
So country music, I had listened to it growing up in many ways. A lot of country music was born out of rock and roll, really. When you start to study it, it came out of the Appalachian Mountains, and uh, um, and then from there, it was a way that poor mining folks could make a living, to make extra money by playing music in the town while they're having celebrations, drinking and partying and that kind of thing way back, even in the early 1800s. So country music has a big story to tell. It's very popular as a genre and well accepted in most parts of the world. but it has roots, and it has a way of expressing music and bringing everybody along, to share the journey and share the love and just, it's a way for me to give a good experience for everyone that listens to my music and listens to country music as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Before we continue, tell me about the hat that you're wearing.
Oh, this is my brother gave this to me. He lives in California. He lives in Orange County, and so I'm always California dreaming. Big Beach Boys fan, and love visiting there as well. California is a great state. If you just want to get away and chill out, a lot of big stars out there as well, and just a lot of good good getaways, to just kind of chill out and kind of decompress, kind of get away from it all. So yeah, I love California, and I'm always California dreaming.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, speaking of the Beach Boys, I believe Brian Wilson passed away recently, right?
Recently, yeah, I think a few days ago he passed, and what a talent! What a great band they were. They were there to really kick off that sound, that surf sound and that beach town sound, and they created it and they own it. So big fan of their music.
Yeah, certainly. I remember the first time I listened to the Pet Sounds album, it blew me away.
Yeah, yeah, just good musicians, and they knew how to put on a show, but they were great musicians and songwriters.
Certainly. Yeah. Okay. So, tell me more about your upbringing.
So I grew up basically in a smaller town than the DFW area. But I grew up with a musical family. My mom was a great singer. She was accomplished. She did commercials, professional commercials, and jingles and things like that. So like McDonald's, ba -ba 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 -ba, I'm loving it, and things like that. She was doing that way back in the '70s, I remember. And my dad was a great songwriter and also loved getting involved in production, TV and radio and music and things like that. So they kind of groomed me in it, really. So when I was young, I was about 5 years old, I started entering contests, talent shows, and things like that, and I was winning them. So at a young age, I started singing and performing, much like not to sound anything like Michael Jackson, but a similar pattern that a family that loved music and was constantly playing it. So I never could get away from it, really.
Hmm. Yeah. And do you hope to pass on the family tradition to your children?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Yeah, I've always encouraged them to pursue their passions, not forcing them to music, but if they choose, then certainly provide the tools and the ways to get it done, So, and of course, now I'm a granddad, I'm a grandfather, so I have a young daughter who hopefully she'll pursue that career and have some wonderful nieces. And so they love to hear my music, and it's always fun to, see their expressions and their their ideas too of what I can do. Because, the young people have the kind of the niche, of what to do now as far as marketing and advertisement, really. Things have changed so much, as you know, in the market, in the industry, that it's a different ball game, than when I started in this industry. So it's ever changing. So I'm just always trying to adapt to it.
Hmm. Yeah. So tell me about some of the ways in which the industry has changed since you first started.
Well, when I started, there was a format which was basically you find a A&R person, with a record label that would seek out talent, then they would, you know, kind of push that along into more of the executive decisions with the record labels. And I've worked with a few record labels in my lifetime. And basically that gets backing and support, and there's a plan made or a planogram basically that's set out to get that music out to, to the stores and to the general public and distribute that. And then you're working with all kinds of different arms in the radio industry and just different ways to promote that music. But it was kind of a one-stop shop thing, really, and then everybody just kind of had their area to cover and then produce that artist and that product. But everyone, everybody's involved in it. So basically the artist just has to focus on their craft, you know what I mean? And what they're wanting to do to entertain the crowds and get more involved with them. And so it worked like that. Now I have to get involved. I've been involved with my music from A to Z now. In fact, I'll be recording in the studio here as soon as I leave this session. I'm headed to the studio to record a new song that I'm real excited about. And but I work on my own projects now. I work with record labels if they want to partner with me. They sometimes ask me if I'll just use their logo, if I'll use their incentives and kind of help them to get involved in what I'm doing, which is really cool because most labels don't want to work with indie artists. They just want to work with, some big pop artist or, what's going on in the mainstream and what's hot and what's not. But but let me get back to the change is that when the internet came and there was all these changes happening, it opened up a lot of opportunities for artists to really do their own thing and have access to all the resources that big labels always had their hands in, the resources available, and they're out there, and it's just getting connected with the right people, getting connected with the right um, just the things that the industry is really directing or trying to gear it towards or move that paradigm into that total space of music life and where it's going and how it's going to stay survive, all of the competition and survive all of the things going on in the world, all the changes happening around the world we see day and night, wars and there's wars going on and there's um, different aspects of humanity that are affected and trying to reach them with aid and that kind of thing. And so I think just being open-minded and really embracing change and see what can happen when you begin to apply yourself and not be afraid to do it. But things like just having an interview with you today is just wonderful for me because it allows me to share my mission and my goals with people out there that don't even know my name, let alone like country music.
Mhm.
So anyway, but interviews, staying connected, getting involved. Sometimes it takes you have to really um, not be afraid to make decisions and go for it. So anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So we already know your name. In case anyone needs a reminder, it's Todd Barrow. So what is your mission and your goal?
Yeah, so the mission that I've always set out to do is we used to call this outlaw country, and this would be a really good, probably a good corner to cover. But outlaw country started when the guy that was the most famous for this was Hank Williams. Hank Williams was really the big country star, and still is today, that was creating a new sound in country music. Then, of course, you have Johnny Cash, you have Chris Christopherson, you have Waylon Jennings, you have Willie Nelson. What happened was that Nashville had created this idea that it had to be really flashy and you had to really dress up. You have to drive these nice cars. You have to look a certain way, sound a certain way, for country music to be the best. And Buck Owens was in that crowd as well. But these guys were opposed to that, and they said, "Well, why can't we just wear blue jeans, old tattered t-shirts, and country hats, and you know what I mean? Be working on the farm all day, grab some guitars, go to the studio, record music, and have country music and do it as a lifestyle." I like that. I think lifestyle is a good word for this. Outlaw country is similar to what I do or I use every day because most of my music is not artificial enough or AI efficient enough for Nashville. Okay. That's why I'm in Texas. I'm not saying I don't like Nashville, not saying I don't have friends that are artists and directors and engineers in the business. I do. I go to Nashville. I've recorded in Nashville. I have a big love for Nashville. However, my journey's different. And I like the idea that I don't have to be put in a box and I can be expressive and I can come out with something different, new, and fresh. And people go, wow, where did that come from? What is it? You know what I'm saying? What is it? And but to stand out, be different, and really just get to the organic of a sound from my heart, from my heartbeat, from my soul, and give that to the world. And that's what I do. It's a lot of energy, it's a lot of passion, and it's a lot of love, but there's a lot of freedom in it too. And most people catch on to it. They're like, okay, I get it. And that's what I want. I want people just to kind of they gravitate to it, they listen, they understand, they go, wow, yeah, I think I can do something bigger in my life too. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Mhm. Yeah. I remember listening to the Highwayman album, which was a quartet made up of Cash, Jennings, Nelson, and Christopherson. Yeah, that was a magnificent
That was
record.
it.
And I believe it was last year that Christopherson passed away, and there was an outpouring of tributes and support. So basically, out of the Highwaymen, only Willie is the one that's kicking and living today. What do
Yeah,
you
that's
find?
true.
Yeah, what do you find to be the enduring quality of outlaw country music?
I think the quality is not giving up. It's tenacity. It's a way of life. It's something that's real. It's not fake. It's not you know, so many artists try to imitate other artists and so many records try to imitate other records and I don't think that's the way to do it. And I think that's what the Highwayman was all about is, hey man, this is us and this is what we've been doing all along and it hasn't changed. And I think once it's in your blood, I think once it's in your system that it doesn't change. It doesn't veer off that course. And so once I just know that I had always strived for my own signature sound. I never wanted to sound like anybody else. Now, I'm not saying I didn't want to, maybe have a little bit of flavor of those artists or that kind of a particular sound that sounded so crazy good with a steel guitar or harmonica or a fiddle or a guitar lick here and there. But I think just having it in you and that's what you are, then it never changes. If that's who you are and that's what you do, then that's who you are and that's what you do. And it just stays forever.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm intending to do.
certainly. Yeah, yeah. You mentioned heading to the studio after we are done with this conversation. What can you tell us about the upcoming single?
Yeah, this next single is going to be really hot. It's going to be definitely more rock and roll. It's going to have a lot of different artists that I grew up listening to that maybe surprised you, but I'll just mention it. Van Halen, Sammy Hagar, of course the Eagles, other artists, Eric Clapton, and what I'm really trying to pull together is a blend of country rock and roll for this next one so that everybody can really put it on their playlist, whatever they listen to, Pandora or whatever, or iHeart radio, whatever you're tuned into. But definitely, it's definitely going to have a lot of kick to it. I usually the producer, the engineer, the guys I play with, we usually have a meeting and we organize everything, so we kind of have a direction of where we're headed for it, and they know what the outcome should be.
Okay, yeah. I look forward to listening to a new single.
Yeah, it's going to be rocking, baby,
Right. Yeah,
rocking.
I expect nothing less. So, tell us about what is so far your latest single, which is titled Ain't Looking Back Now.
Yeah, this song was a song that I wrote uh, in particular for my brother. Um, when he left Texas, he went and moved to California without anything, started his own business, and grew it from nothing to where it is today. So I'm really proud of him. He's done so well. Of course, you know the cost of living in California is outrageous. You have to make a lot of money, you know, times three to really make even consider living in California. It is so expensive. And so he left. And so one day we were chatting and talking, goes, "Man, you know what? You've never written about me in your songs. You never written anything about me in your career." And I said, "You know what? You're right, brother. But I'm going to write something down the road, but you can count on it." So this song speaks about his journey, but it also speaks of mine, and it also is just a way to relate to people that there's a point where you just kind of get past the point of no return. Um, where the stars start to line up and all your hard work and blood, sweat, and tears and everything you poured into it, start to really pay off and it takes off, and you kind of get the vibe that, oh wow, here we go. I've been waiting for this. I've been working towards this, and now it's finally happening. Here it's finally here. But ain't looking back now is just a way to say, hey, not looking back at the mistakes, not looking back at all the things that it took to get here, but I'm looking forward and looking ahead of what's to come.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, where do you find inspirations for your songs?
Inspiration comes in different ways. Sometimes it's just an experience. Most of the time, it is in my life an experience that I go through. It can be. It could be a bumper sticker on a car. It could be a billboard on the freeway. It could be, I'm watching a movie or something, or an actor says something, a line or a script, and I go, oh yeah, okay. There's something there. Um, yeah, usually it's just these tags, usually taglines that pop in my head, or I start to kind of think about subjects that are current events, things like that. Uh, relating to the elderly, senior people, relating to the young kids of today, relating to, just really the every age in life, and every stage in life, really, and just try to hone in on a subject and then really uh, make it so real and bring that message out.
Yeah, certainly. Now, can you tell me a moment that happened to you recently that confirmed that this is why I became a musician?
Wow, that's good. I love that question. I sometimes have, at times we can get down, about what's not happening in our careers. And in those moments, you have to really, encourage something. And I had an email I received from, it was out of Colombia, actually, and it was a group of kids, and they had written me to thank me for all my music and all that I stood for. And they discovered me on Instagram. I was touched by it because it just it, it I realized that yeah, it does pay off. That I just if you kept I can't just quit. I can't just throw in the towel because there's the people that are being reached, and there's just these kids that are in the streets, kicking the ball around and just trying to figure out what they're going to do in life, and maybe they want to come to America, maybe they want to do music, maybe they're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a airline pilot. I don't know. Um, Maybe the president of the country. Who knows? But this feedback, it touches me, man, uh, to the core. And it almost broke my heart. I was just like, wow, it just humbling, I would say, very humbling. And that's one thing that I do. I try to stay humble. I'm very humble and grateful. You'll never find me in a moment of trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm a real person, and I'm just like you. Um, I've just been allowed to do a lot of great things, and a lot of gifts that I've been given from above have paid off and opened many doors. So
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. Um, so what would you say to, say, a young aspiring country musician, particularly if they are a member of your family?
what I would say is that you want to first start out as a songwriter. As a songwriter is usually a good place to begin because that's where I began really. Before I began in the big time in country music, I was working and I had the opportunity to meet a guy named Sonny Burgess, who's in the Texas Music Hall of Fame, very well known in Nashville, country star. Didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was. And out of collaboration and in songwriting, that began the journey, or that began the end to launch my career in country music. So we started collaborating on writing songs, and I was what I was focused on is just songwriter. And then once I had accomplished that and gotten to a different level, then I began to get out as an artist, began to develop more, and just began to see that everything was becoming fruitful. So I would say start as a songwriter. That's a good place to start.
Certainly. I hopefully anyone who's listening to the show, it's a an aspiring country musician, and he or she may find your advice helpful. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we mentioned Cade and Warren before. So tell me about your working relationship. How has he helped you with your music?
Yes. Well, of course, you have to have those that are experienced and they know what they're doing, and they have these roles to play, and it's in promoting music. And he has promoted several of my records and successfully distributed to radio stations and encouraged DJs and program directors, to use my music in their rotation. So he has definitely given me exposure out in Nashville. He always travels to Nashville many times a year, and he's just given me a lot of encouragement and always directed others to work with him. And he has a great track record, I would say, in promoting music.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he reached out to me, so
Of course.
what do you suppose are your plans and goals for this year, 2025?
Okay, I would say that on I love art. I've always appreciated art. Sometimes I'll attempt to paint a canvas, just to reflect that. But art is very important to me, not just musically, but also in acting, with script writing and working with others in the movie film industry. I've had the opportunity to be in film and television, and been in series, one that was featured on Netflix. It's still very successfully. I think it might be on Hulu too. Um, but also in films that I've been a part of. I had the opportunity to work with Matthew McConaughey on a project at the University of Texas, and since he works in the film department with the School of Fine Arts, and had an opportunity to be in one of his short films that was called Frank's. Went down there to be a fill-in or a extra, and they said, "No, you're going to have a part." Gave me a script, and here I was in this role in a great film, and it won a lot of awards. Of course, Matthew McConaughey is somebody special to me. I had a chance to meet him on Zoom while he's directing this thing, so it was fun. So getting back to your question, what are my plans? I want to do a few more films. I'd like to get back into some TV series. I'd like to. I'm often shopping or I guess applying for roles, to see if I can find something that fits and get back into that as well because I love that aspect. I love filmmaking. I love the process. It takes a while, it takes much longer than music, but it's a lot of fun. So both combining music and film and just continuing both simultaneously, I would say that is my goal.
Hmm. Yeah, you certainly got that movie star look.
You're too kind.
Yeah. And yeah, I love Matthew McConaughey's work. My favorite of his is when he does the first season of True Detective with Woody Harrelson.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Those guys work great together. Great combination.
Yeah, that was truly magnificent series.
Agree.
Mhm. Yeah. So tell me about the aspects of movie making that outsiders like me may not know about.
Well, of course, first of all, there's a screening or a reading, we call it, the reading with the script that is sent out. And once they've decided that you're the right fit for the part, then it gets tighter, basically. So then there's a few more readings. And then there's also the putting together the location, which is a big deal. What days that certain scenes will be shot, filmed, what days, what times, and then you basically show up and you get fit for your costume. You do hair, makeup, and all that good stuff. Whatever hair I have left, um, do. And then you do the shoot, and but that whole day is it's a full day. You can be on a scene for 3 to 4 hours. If it's not done right, it may be 6 hours. So because it's just so important to get the right shots, to get the right sound, to get the right effect, the emotion. There's so much that goes into play to that, but it's just fun meeting new people, meeting directors, meeting camera folks. I'm telling you, uh, camera crews. They're a fun crew to hang out with, and so it's an exciting thing to be a part of that project. And then once you get to finally see how it was put together, and then it's edited, and you get to see that in the shooting, it's really a great feeling. It's really exciting, but it
Hmm.
takes a lot longer process to get done.
Hmm. Do you get that excitement when you show a movie or a show on TV to your friends and family just because you're in it, and then you wait till the moment that you appear on screen and then just point out to them?
Yeah. Well, and no, what's funny is that, yes, I do that too. What's funny is that here locally, people recognize me, and I'll be at the pharmacy, and just picking up something or in a store somewhere, and I get that look. I can tell that look. They'll just kind of go, you know, and I go, oh boy, and they'll go, and the finger comes up, and they go, are you? And I go, yeah, that's me. And of course, it depends on how I look. If I'm in a, if my hair's messed up, then I want to, no, that's another guy. Sorry, you got the wrong guy. But no. So I'll just nod and kind of go, yeah, that's me. That's me. I go, I thought it was you. You look so, man. I saw you in, or man, I remember when you, and I'll go, yeah, well, yeah, that was, and then I kind of tell a story behind the story, and we kind of just chat a little bit, and I just shake their hand and or hug them and say, thank you so much. I appreciate your stopping me, and it's such a pleasure to meet you. And then I'm on my way. So, but ever so often it'll happen.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm so curious about the ins and outs of movie production. I'm a fan of movies. I've been so all my life. Yeah.
Well, what's great about that you can start with small projects. There's this thing that I started using. I did a couple of scripts that I've submitted, but there's a lot of screenwriter rooms and all kinds of ways. It's a way to get your foot in the door that you can, you know, it, it can be it just be an idea of a TV pilot or something or a short film or things like that. I've submitted a lot of my work, my music videos to these film festivals all over the world and won numerous awards. And it's Film Freeway. You look up Film Freeway. It's a way you can actually submit your work to them. They even do documentaries. They do even live documentary and submit, you know, and they and the if you're selected, they'll put that in the festival, and then it's advertised, everywhere on YouTube, and they do it live in their city. Could be in Spain, could be in Tokyo, could be in Germany. I mean, it's worldwide, but it's a great place to get started.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about one of the movies that you've seen, maybe one that you were in or one that you were not in that really made an impact on you.
I would say that I did a film with here in Dallas that it went pretty good on. I think it went to Broadway even, and it was called Stooged. Sheldon Gets Stooged, I think was the name of it, and we basically this guy he it's not the Sheldon from the '70s show. It's another character that he does that's been popular for many years, and kind of like a Pee Wee Herman, if you kind of get the idea, kind of like that. So but I was in this. I had to do a part for Abbott and Costello. So we went back in time basically. So he had all these characters from the '50s or the '40s or whenever they were shooting that, like the Little Rascals and kind of like oh gosh, the Three Stooges basically. But it was, and that was they were the main characters. Sheldon gets stooged. It was with the Three Stooges. I had to play Costello. I had to play the Costello character, but it was really a lot of fun. It was very inspirational to me because I had a chance to kind of get a glimpse into what that character went through in that time frame, and then have the opportunity to bring it up to date and modernize it for audiences today. So it was a great project. Well known. It won some award they did in Dallas, a big thing about it. But it was just one of my early days of getting involved in film shoot, and it was kind of a theater type of atmosphere, but well worth doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be sure to look it up. Okay. How would you chronicle or chart your growth as an artist?
Yeah, I've grown a lot. When I first started as an artist to be professional at it and not just kind of kicking the idea around, had a lot of reservations is if I could really do it. Could I pull it off? Could I be strong enough? How was I going to get the influence? How was I going to get the momentum? Um, in a short period of time. Because I started out doing a lot of music things behind the scenes in my later lifetime. I have done it more professionally and more seriously and more driven. I've grown over the years to realize that it takes a lot of people and it takes a lot of investment. Because if you want to make it to the top, you have to count the cost. You have to realize that it's not going to happen overnight. Not saying it can't happen overnight. It could happen overnight. It could be magical. But most of the time, when those things happen where people make it so quick, too fast, they're not emotionally or mentally ready for what's coming. They're not. And so what I would say is this, is that I've learned to grow mentally, to grow emotionally, um, and also to hold myself accountable for whatever I do will impact someone's life. It could make it bad or it can make it good. Well, of course, I want it all to be great. But I've had to make choices in my life to realize, okay, I need to make changes in this area. I need to get better at this. And there's always room for correction. And that's the one thing I've learned. There's always room for improvement. I don't care how long you've been doing it or how well you think you're doing it. There's always room for improvement. That's the biggie. I think out of all of it, I would summarize.
What do you hope your music will have an impact on? Like, what impact do you hope your music will have on the people who listen to it?
I want my music to be revolutionary. I want to make a difference in the music industry. I want to, you know, um, something that is totally different than's happening now in the world of music. A new experience, you know, and something that's revolutionary. I keep going back to that word, but a renaissance maybe of music. I think that to me, it's just kind of gotten status quo, in my opinion. Just saying. I'm not speaking for myself. I think it's gotten very status quo. I think it needs a lot of flair, and I think needs a lot of new flavor. It lacks a lot of substance. And I think sometimes you have to go back, way back, and find the depth, find the character, find what were they doing when it was so awesome, when music was just too incredible. What was it? What's the secret? What's the secret sauce? You know, I just think we need to reflect and kind of step back um, and not rush things. Not trying to push it so fast. Take time. Let's take time with it, like a good meal. That recipe. Make it right. So that's what I would say about that.
Okay. All right. So, final question. What does music mean to you?
Music to me is the soul of the universe. That it's been said many times. Um, it's a bright spot in a dark world. Uh, it's a sound that lifts you up. It's something that gives you direction and hope. It's a way to dream. You know, uh, there's so many things that music does. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it leaves you speechless. But music definitely moves the world, I would say. Music definitely moves the world.
That's a wonderful note to end on. Thank you very much, Todd Barrow, for joining the show.
Thank you.